Hey there, and welcome. All right, we are jumping right into things today. In this explainer, we're tackling a ridiculously frustrating problem. We're talking about that massive, gaping void between having these huge, vibrant dreams for your life and feeling completely, utterly stuck in neutral. If you've ever felt like you have all this locked up potential, but you just can't seem to make yourself move, well, this is absolutely for you. Because it turns out there is some fascinating psychology behind people who get labeled as lazy but ambitious, and we're going to unpack the whole shebang together.
Seriously, take a second and ask yourself, why do you dream so big but do absolutely nothing? I mean, you can literally see yourself succeeding, right? You imagine the life you want so clearly that it almost feels real. But when it actually comes time to sit down and do the hard work, you just freeze. You wait. You tell yourself that classic, comforting lie, tomorrow. Tomorrow will be different. But then tomorrow rolls around and you do the exact same thing all over again. So let's paint a picture of what your daily routine probably looks like right now. You wake up and, man, the intentions are golden. Today is the day. Today is the day you finally start. You sincerely tell yourself that, yes, today you're going to crush that big project. You're going to take that vital first step towards your goal. And the thing is, that motivation you feel in the morning, it's entirely genuine.
But then, yeah, you know what happens. You check your phone just for a second, right? Just a quick peek. But those few innocent minutes quickly devolve into a 2-hour deep dive into random trivia and videos you literally won't even remember tomorrow. Before you know it, half the day is totally gone. So you start bargaining with yourself. You say, okay, I'll start right after lunch. But lunch comes and goes, you feel a bit sluggish, unmotivated, and suddenly, you're pushing the whole thing to tomorrow when you'll magically have more energy.
Fast forward to nighttime, and you're lying in bed staring at the ceiling, feeling this crushing sense of guilt. You're so disappointed in yourself because you know deep down you just wasted another day doing literally anything except the one thing you know you should be doing. You promise yourself tomorrow will be different, but you're trapped in this loop. And honestly, it might have been going on for months or even years. Let's look at Section 1, the comfort-seeking brain. Here's the thing. Research shows that this paralysis, it is not a lack of talent, it's definitely not a lack of intelligence, and it is certainly not a moral failing. It's a biological design. You're essentially living in a divided state, dealing with a constant internal conflict. On one side, you have the dreamer. This part of you wants to achieve great things. It sets goals. It imagines success. But, fighting tooth and nail against that, you have the protector. This part of your brain desperately wants safety, ease, and short-term comfort. Its entire job is to protect you from failure, rejection, and hard work. And right now, the protector is winning hands down. It turns out your brain is quite literally going into survival mode. It looks at the effort and uncertainty of working on your goals and sees a major threat. It really doesn't like that. So instead, it offers you a super easy way out, like scrolling on your phone or binge-watching videos. Doing this gives your brain an instant, massive hit of dopamine. You feel a little better, the discomfort fades away, and your brain essentially learns that avoiding work makes you feel good. But here is the tragedy in that. While it's protecting you from short-term discomfort, it is actively stealing your long-term happiness. Moving on to Section 2, perfectionism is just fear. Let's debunk some illusions here. We love to mask our avoidance with these really noble-sounding excuses, right? We assume that highly successful people just have some magical, endless supply of discipline they were born with. We tell ourselves, I just need more motivation. But the reality? Motivation is just a feeling. And like all feelings, it comes and it goes. You absolutely cannot build a solid foundation for your life on something as fleeting and unreliable as motivation. And then there's your so-called perfectionism. You have such a crystal clear vision of what success looks like that anything less feels like a total failure. So what do? You wait for the perfect plan, the perfect time, the perfect conditions. But guys, perfectionism is not about having high standards. It is fear disguised as excellence. It is your brain's very clever excuse to never actually start. Because let's be honest here, if you never start, you never have to face the terrifying possibility that you might not be as capable as your fantasies suggest. It all boils down to this. Failure is not the opposite of success. Inaction is. Staying tucked away in a safe fantasy world of endless planning teaches you absolutely nothing. When you do nothing, you learn nothing. The hard truth is that every single successful person you admire has failed more times than you have even tried. The only difference is they took imperfect action and they just kept moving. Which brings us to Section 3, systems over motivation. So how do we actually break this cycle once and for all? By relying on environmental design. Here are the specific physical steps you need to take. Listen, this is not a willpower problem. It's a design problem. Step 1. Put your phone in a completely different room. Seriously, get it out of sight. Step 2. Clean your workspace so you don't feel scattered the second you sit down. Step 3. Set a specific time for focused work and protect it like it's sacred. You have to curate an environment where the default action is the productive action. Make it physically harder to be distracted than it is to just focus.
And the magic number for all of this is 15. Start small. You gotta ignore that perfectionist urge to change your entire life overnight. That's a trap. Instead, pick just one tiny thing that moves you toward your goal. Work on it for just 15 minutes. Write just one paragraph. Make just one phone call. It honestly does not matter how small it is. What matters is that you actually do it, and then you wake up and do it again tomorrow. Consistency is what builds habits. Now here is a massive pattern interrupt for you. Are you ready? Stop consuming so much content. Watching videos about success, reading endless productivity articles, and yes, even listening to explainers like this very one can become a trap. It feels like progress, sure, but it is just another sneaky form of avoidance. It's your brain tricking you into thinking that learning is the exact same thing as doing. You don't need more information right now, you need execution. Let's look at section 4, the power of imperfect action. To actually execute, we have to face the pretty harsh reality of starting. First off, you will almost never wake up bursting with energy to do hard things. You just have to do it anyway. Second, your first attempt will be terrible. Every masterpiece started as a really rough draft. Third, discipline feels terrible at first. Your brain is going to fight you and give you every excuse in the book to quit. But if you just push through, that resistance will eventually get quieter. And finally, progress is never a straight line. You will mess up and you will skip days. When you do mess up, the single most important thing you can do is replace shame with self-compassion. Beating yourself up with guilt while you're lying in bed at night does not motivate you. It literally only reinforces that same cycle of avoidance we've been talking about. True forgiveness isn't about letting yourself completely off the hook. It's simply giving yourself permission to try again tomorrow without carrying the heavy, useless weight of yesterday's failures. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to a good friend. Because listen, being lazy is not who you are. Lazy is just what you have been doing. Who you are is someone with massive dreams, deep potential, and the complete undeniable ability to change. What you've been doing is just temporarily avoiding discomfort, mostly because your brain hasn't learned yet that pushing through that discomfort is exactly what leads to growth. So here is my final challenge to you. Ambition without action is just a fantasy. Nobody is going to do this for you, and nobody is coming to save you from yourself. So stop watching videos about changing your life, stop over-planning your life, and start actually living it. In a moment, I want you to close this explainer, shut off your screen, and go do just one small thing to start building your new life right now. Start now, and whatever you do, keep going.